Welcome to the Miami Sports Vibes YouTube channel for our weekly Dolphins episode. Nando right here with your boy Jacoby, man, in the building. Following a nice Dolphins win, 5-1 Miami Dolphins team. Man, we're feeling good right now, man. Jacoby, how's it going?
Feeling pretty good, dude. 5-1 for the first time since 2002. Can't get much better than that, man. It's been a fun start to the season, but now the real season's starting, in my opinion. Got a big task coming up this week, but man, it was a fun win. Got a little worried there in the beginning, but it turned out to be a fun win.
Worried in the beginning. That's exactly where I was going to start off the show, because we want to get into Philly. We want to talk about Philly. This matchup this Sunday is going to be one to watch, man. I mean, primetime television, Sunday night football, both teams hot, 5-1. I freaking can't wait for it. But we're going to touch on Carolina first, spend some time on that before we dive into Philly. You talked about you were a little bit worried in the beginning. That 14-0 lead, and seeing the Dolphins punt for the amount of times that they did was something that we were not used to seeing. We're like, what the hell is going on? Was there any chance that you felt like we could slip away? This might be a long game, or did you have full faith that the Dolphins will win this by multiple scores?
I still had faith that they were going to win by multiple scores. If it would have leaked into the second quarter, I would have been panicking a little bit, but doesn't mean it wasn't frustrating. Seeing the defensive play in the first quarter was very, very frustrating. It started out pretty good. Chubb got a sack on the first drive, and then we just were getting bullied from here on out. Like it's not even like the Panthers are making good plays. It's not even like our scheme wasn't right. It's straight up defenders getting bullied by the opponent, and it's completely frustrating. So I think it's a great cause for concern, but I don't want to spend too much wallowing on that because the defense did bounce back. They only allowed they didn't allow any more points after that. The pick six was on the fault of the offense. So I mean,
Yep.
you got to credit the defense there, but I mean, you get off to a start like that against Philadelphia, I don't think you're winning that game.
No, not at all, bro. Not against a good team like Philly. No doubt in my mind. There's a lot of stats that we're gonna compare later on about Philly. You definitely don't want to get into a 14-0 deficit, especially on the road in that environment. But that pick six also came at the hands of Mike White too. I do want to throw that out there. So
Yeah.
the 14-0 lead, all right, they made things interesting. They wanted us, they wanted something to get themselves down, I guess. But you saw some good signs from the defense, man. We finally saw my boy Bradley Chubb get a fucking sack. He could have had two. One got called back for a flag, but he had a pretty decent game, man. I know the defense gave up 14 points, but you mentioned how they shut it down afterwards. We've been very critical of the defense, man. Now you have back-to-back games. Granted, they're against bad teams, but you have some solid play from the defense. How do you feel about this defense right now as is?
Man, I'm not sold. I'm
Still?
not sold. I take this very personally when you're playing against bad teams. Just seeing, there was a bunch of third down plays where our linebackers are getting shoved to the floor. There was a crucial when we were down 14-0. I think it was like 3rd and 3. Receiver gets the ball, and Jerome Baker completely misses the tackle. Laughing about it afterwards. I was so frustrated
Yeah.
seeing that shit, man. You just can't do that against good teams, and that's just the lack of tackling and physicality is what got our asses kicked up in Buffalo. There is a great concern with this Dolphins defense. I don't care about the bounce back. You need to go out there and completely take over the game against these bad teams. In those two games, Bryce Young throwing a lot of picks, Daniel Jones throwing a lot of picks. Did we get any interceptions? It's very concerning, Nando. I hate to tell you that, man, but I mean, I'm holding this defense to a tough standard, but something needs to be tweaked, and it needs to be tweaked quickly.
Yeah, no, I think it's right. It's rightfully so that you do that, because we obviously went out and got pretty much arguably the best DC in the league in Vic Fangio. So I think it's good that you do that, and I want you to stay that way, because we got to hold these guys accountable. I think that you heard about Nick Needham practicing. I think that that's going to be a huge addition when he comes into the mix, and I also think you heard great news about Jalen Ramsey over the weekend. When he comes into the mix, I really do think that's going to improve a lot of things, because you're going to be able to have X and Jalen on each side. And then that's going to move Kohu and Nick Needham to do what they're good and we're supposed to do, which is play in the nickel. I think that's going to be that's going to change things around. But hey, we're 5-1 and just pushing through. One thing that shocked the hell out of me. I don't know how you feel about this. I did share this with you, but now I looked it up and I wanted to confirm that I was right. Bro, we are tied for third in the league in sacks with 21. I mean, can you believe that?
It doesn't feel like it at all. Like,
Right.
that's what is completely shocks me too. I saw that too. And I think we were top 5 in quarterback rushes too. I'm just like, it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like it because these quarterbacks are still making plays on us. That's where it gets the frustrating part out about it. But like, you got to praise the defense there. We do have a solid defensive line where they need to be getting to the quarterback. They need to be getting sacks. But it's just still frustrating. Plays teams are still making big plays on us, and we're still getting bullied up with those linebackers, dude. It's just we're gonna find out real soon.
Yeah.
We got a team that don't screw around this week, and it's gonna tell a lot.
Yeah, this is why I'm excited to see this matchup in particular, because there's a lot of things where I as a fan, looking at all these stats, they're cool, but I want to see how we play against great teams. All right, Bills are a great team. You saw, we got showed up that game. This is another test for us. Just like, all right, you lost the tough game, you got back into the groove, you did what you were supposed to do, winning those 2 games. Now you have another test. How have you adjusted since the last time you played in a tough environment, which was in Buffalo? You got the Bills have are leading the league in sacks with 24, Baltimore second, and then Miami is third with 21. So, and that's what a lot of games without Jalen Phillips. So I think when it comes to the DBs, I think that's going to get situated once you get Needham back, once you get Ramsey back. If you get Jalen Phillips back and healthy, like consistently, I think the numbers will go up in the sack department. But like you said, those linebackers really needs to toughen the hell up, and we're gonna have a good test this Sunday. But I want to touch on a little bit more about this Panthers game, man. You saw the running game. We were a little bit, we weren't too worried about this matchup, but we knew losing a guy like A-Chain was going to suck for his development. All right, what are we going to do now? You had some rumors about Jeff Wilson. You and I said we don't even think he's going to play. He didn't play. Raheem Mostert, as the lead guy, ended up getting to the end zone and doing big things. Now has 11 touchdowns for the season. He looks like he's running even harder. How do you feel about this running game now? Like without A-Chain, and Mostert is still able to get things done, man.
I feel great about it, dude. I mean, it's been a great sight to see. The run game has not let up once, and we got reinforcements coming. I think Jeff Wilson does play this week. He said he was ready last week, so we need to see him out there. But just the one thing that concerns me is, this doesn't just go for Mostert. Guys were taking some big hits out there last week,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I know the Heat attributes to it that some guys getting hurt. Xavier Howard got hurt. I don't think he's going to play this week, but I'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm.
Mostert was just taking beats after beats. Brooks got hurt. Tyreek cramped up, but it worries me with the run game. Is Mostert going to be able to stay durable until we get Achane back? So
Mm-hmm.
that's the one thing that worries me. And this week you got to protect him. You got to protect him big time because those are big guys we're going to be facing this week. So I'm impressed, but I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't a little worried about the durability of the run game.
Yeah, and now we're going against a physical bunch in Philly who is actually second in the league in stopping the run. So this is going to be another huge test for even Mostert. But you also want to be cautious, given his injury history, not to go out there
Absolutely.
and don't get too crazy with it, Mike. So it's going to be interesting to see. I just give credit, man, to this offensive line, man. I can't. We've been talking about it for weeks now. I mean, this is another game where they haven't gave up a sack. They continue to just produce, and it's freaking amazing, man. Like I mean, you gotta tip your hat to them, bro. Like this is
Oh, yeah.
a group that all of Dolphins Twitter, every Dolphin fan has been so hard on this offensive line. Are they gonna keep Tua healthy? Oh, are we gonna run? Hopefully they could throw. Like we've been on their ass, man, and we only said, hey, Teron Armstead's our best lineman. That guy can't even stay on the fucking field. I mean, he can't stay on the field, and it's the other guys that are doing big things. Have we complained about Connor Williams with the snaps here and there? Yeah. But you know what? For the most part, I even said, Connor Williams wants to get paid. Get the hell out of here. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm paying Connor Williams. Like that dude, his athleticism has been tremendous. The stuff he's able to do has been tremendous in the running game, in the passing game. Bro, besides a couple bad hiccups there and, snapping the ball, I think he's been awesome. I think Robert Hunt has been awesome. I think Austin Jackson has been awesome. And those are three guys. I haven't even said Teron Armstead. And the only question mark, Isaiah Wynn, I think is solid. The only question mark is Liam Eichenberg. I mean, he's the only guy that I can say, like, get the hell out of here. But if you have Isaiah Wynn, you have Teron Armstead, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, and Austin Jackson playing at this level, I think that, that is a good enough line right here to just, like, I'm good with that line, man. I think we should do whatever it takes to keep Connor Williams. What about you? What do you think about Connor Williams and the
No,
offensive
man,
line?
I feel the same. I feel like Williams is a slow start to the season. It had a lot to do with him holding out for a little bit. But I'm just hoping he stays healthy. I hope he gets back onto the field this week. But there's not much words you can really say with the expectations we had going into the season with the Dolphins O-line. It's been tremendous, and like I said, they're not even at their full strength yet, and they're not giving up sacks. So, that's just an amazing sight to see, and that could just take this team a long way. So, hopefully we're going to get Armstead back right after his 4-week period and see this O-line at full strength again going into the tough stretch. That's exactly what this team needs, but it's been amazing. But I will say this, if you have a chance to add more depth to it, you take it. You can't have enough depth at the O-line position.
No, definitely. But I think for that foundation, I think we finally got something there. And I think this is when we have to just keep things right. They're only going to get better in this system. If they get the system already, keep that group, man. Keep that group together. It probably won't even cost you much, with the exception of Connor Williams. So I love what I'm seeing from the offensive line. Like, they deserve all the credit. But, it's a big test for them. They gave up a couple sacks in Buffalo, and now here's another test. So I'm going to be curious and keeping an extra eye out on them this weekend. Tua, 3 touchdown passes, had a solid game. Not surprised there. Tyreek Hill, man. I mean, he is so freaking electric, bro. He is so fun to watch, man. That celebration, getting to the end zone, getting the phone and doing a backflip, man. Like, can you just show Cheetah some love? How do you feel about watching Tyreek Hill on a weekly basis?
Man, Tyreek's just been such a show this season. His celebrations have just had me dying, man. Like, I didn't think they can get much better than that. And then he does the phone celebration. Like, that was amazing. He's just been special, dude. And he's been even cramping up and getting a little beat up out there, and he's still staying on the field. And his mindset and actions around his teammates have been truly a sight to see. This is a very selfless team, and they are just staying together as a brotherhood, and it's just going to take them a long way. We could not have struck more gold with Tyreek Hill, dude. So I'm excited to see it. And he just said it. He said it yesterday. He's like, I live for these types of games, the one that's coming up. So, expect him to go out there and try to have a big game again. So, and he's well on his way to 2,000 yards. He's already at 840 something, I believe. So it's been awesome.
It's crazy, man. He literally put the target on his back. He said he's going for it, and then he's actually, making it happen, bro. Like, hopefully he does. Hopefully he continues. I don't see him slowing down one bit, bro. He just looks he looks so just locked into a different level this year, bro. Like, I couldn't believe you talked about him cramping up, man. There was a couple times where I'm like, oh, that's a hamstring. Careful.
I got freaked out.
Oh, and then he came back out there, and then he was running full speed. I'm like, damn. And then it happened again. I'm like, yo, maybe chill out. But then he comes back, and it doesn't even look like it's bothering him. I mean, it's insane. It's insane, bro. I mean, we got so lucky, bro, getting a guy like this.
Yeah, and it's taken a lot of pressure off Jalen Waddle as well. I do want to say this on that touchdown to Waddle in the I think it was the second quarter. Tua took the complicated route there, man. He had a wide open running lane to the end zone, and he had Tyreek right there too. So I mean, I was happy Waddle got the touchdown there, but I do want to touch base on that. Like, Tua's got to. I don't know if Tua was just trying to stat pad there, but I'm like, you got to take the easy route, dude. You can't just. That was a risky pass, man. But it was Tua had a great game, dude. He hit Tyreek in stride once again, which was an amazing play. So I was pleased with the performance, and I'm over it now. I'm looking on to this week and the week after next, because we got big dogs coming. It's time.
Hell yeah, man. And that play in particular, man, I was looking, once he was rolling out, I was like, ooh, I see the potential. I saw Hill, And I'm like, I'm jumping up for Hill. He throws it to Watt. I'm like, yo, bro, are you gonna do the same thing you did last week?
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to force feed your buddy. I know that's your Alabama brother, but damn, Tua. But I think it's just, all of these things that he's doing. It's confidence, bro. Like the dude is confident in himself, and I love that, man. It could have haunted us, but I like that he's confident, man. Like if you're willing to do shit like that, like you're really feeling it as a quarterback, and that's important. But
Absolutely. Yep.
But you mentioned some big dogs coming up, man. And then that starts this Sunday with the Philadelphia Eagles primetime television. Both teams 5-1. Philly just coming off a loss, so they're a little bit pissed off losing to the New York Jets. But I'm not, gonna say, hey, the Jets beat them, we could beat. No, Philly is Philly, man. I think Philly is one of the best teams in the league. This is gonna be a crazy, crazy matchup, man. How are you feeling about this game? How are you feeling about that, knowing that your team is 5-1 through 6 heading into this game?
Yeah, I mean, I do want to touch base real quick. The Jets beat the Eagles because they got a top 5 defense. And, a lot of Dolphins fans were like, oh, yeah, Jets beat them. Pop the champagne. Dolphins the only undefeated team. I'm like, I don't think you all realize the Jets might not be going anywhere now. They're beating good teams. They're giving good teams hell. If we're not going to beat the big teams, we need to rely on every AFC loss. So,
Yep.
I told you going into this episode, I'm going to be very pessimistic. I'm not sold on our defense at all. I love that we're 5-1 going to this game. I think this team has a huge amount of momentum, but they're going to be going into probably a top 3 home field advantage over in Philadelphia. If you're a Dolphins fan, you're going to that game. Prayers to you. Please be safe, because I hear it's a very rough environment. My thoughts aren't too high, man. I gotta tell you that. I don't think the Eagles really showed their best play against the Jets, but I think the Jets have an amazing defense, and I think they got the best of them. But especially if Xavier Howard's beat up, that's going to leave Cater Kohu on AJ Brown, and we saw what Diggs did to him. So there's a lot of concerning going into this game. But I mean, I'm trying my best to stay positive, but my hopes aren't too high right now.
Well, all right. Well, listen, I appreciate you keeping it 100, man. You did talk to me before the stream. You let me know, and I'm like, yo, just be you, man. Be yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you feel. This is how you feel. I'm feeling the other way. I'm feeling a little bit confident, and this usually when I'm feeling this confident, I get like slapped right in the face by this fucking team. But I'm feeling good going into this matchup, man. Yes, the Jets are a top 5 defense, and that is exactly why they lost to Philly. They were making Jalen Hurts uncomfortable back there in the pocket, and I think that's extremely important. But I mean, keep in mind, Dolphin fans, we don't have the same defense that the Jets do. Like, we just don't. Like, it sucks to say, but that's just the truth. But I feel good going into this matchup, man. I feel good knowing that we're 5-1 heading in, that we have beat the teams that we're supposed to beat, and that we've been punked before in Buffalo. And I think this is a chance for them to kind of right that wrong and make me feel better about it. But Jalen Hurts is no joke, man. And AJ Brown is no joke, who you mentioned. If Xavier Howard doesn't play, it's just going to be a field day for AJ Brown. But the Philadelphia Eagles, you had many people picking them to go to the Super Bowl. I even said that I predicted the Super Bowl would be these two teams. So that's pretty crazy. Do you think Philly is overrated by many, or do you think Philly's the real deal?
No, Philly is the real deal, because they're such a complete team. Jalen Hurts hasn't looked the best so far in the early start, but I'm not ruling him out yet. They have taken a lot of advantages away from the Eagles so far this season. We haven't seen much of Hurts' rushing attack as he had last year. So, but Miami sucks against mobile quarterbacks, so we might see a little jump in that this week. But I don't think they're overrated. I really don't. I think they're going to continue on this hot streak. I think they're going to be the favorites in the NFC again. Seeing what happened to the Niners this week just shows it's all about that quarterback position, and in tough environments, I think Philly will get the best of the NFC again for sure. But it's going to be tough. I don't want to get too far into my preview, but I feel like if you're going to win this, if you're the Dolphins and you're going to win this game, you're going to have to score on every possession. Like that's just the way I see it. So we'll see, man. But I mean, regardless, it's going to be a great experience for the team. Sunday night prime time. biggest game. This is the biggest test for sure. I
Yeah,
think this is bigger than Buffalo.
yeah, no, I mean, hey, you're on primetime television. Everybody's watching this game. You know, Buffalo, you still had, stuff behind your belt that said, okay, it's still early in the season. Now, this is week 7, man. Like, you know who you are. Like, you know if you're a contender or a pretender. Like, by now, there's no excuses. Injuries are part of the game. I don't want to hear injury excuses. It is what it is. Once you're in week 7, you understand your role in your team. You understand your offense. You understand your schemes. Like, this is the biggest test. This is bigger than Buffalo. Later on, when we play Buffalo week 17 or week 18, that's a different story. But as of right now, this is definitely the biggest game. I don't overrate Philly at all. Many of you guys listening, if you guys have watched Jacoby and I's show, I have said Philly's going to the Super Bowl. I think Philly's going to win the Super Bowl. That's how high I think of Philly. So if the Dolphins go ahead and win this game, like I believe they will, and I'll get to my scoring predictions later, that would be huge in my opinion, and huge to every Dolphin fan. Even Jacoby, even though he's feeling like this might go the other way, it'll impress him as well. But Jacoby, I want to ask you this: how big of a test is this in your opinion? How big of a test is this?
I think this is going to be a major make or break situation for the Dolphins in terms of perspective. I think if you win this game, you are at an all-time high. You have all the momentum going. You go home to play the New England, and then you got Kansas City right after that. And teams and people in the media and teams are going to start looking at you differently. You lose this game, you are going to be pretty much proving everyone right that you can only compete with the bad teams.
Yep.
Nobody's going to take you seriously. Fans are going to hear about it till the end of the season, and we're just going to be labeled like everyone's saying they can only beat the bad teams. So I really think this is a huge test for Miami. If they compete with them, they make it if they lose on a last second thing, I think it's still. I don't like moral victories, but it is moral victory. Mm-hmm. It won't cut everything else, but I'm going to say this again, just like Buffalo, you can't go in there and get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
It cannot look like a varsity versus freshman game out there. If it does, it's going to be really revealing. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm saying at least compete, bro. Like if you lose by 3, lose by a touchdown, and you're out there and you have a chance at the end, or they score one late, don't get out there, don't get punked, bro. Don't lose by 10 or more, and don't get punked like Buffalo punked you guys. Like that's what I'm hoping to see. Hopefully a win, but if it is a loss, I'll take it that way. I'm with you. If you get your ass kicked, then that's why people are going to continue to label us like, hey, we only beat the good teams. Like they won't believe in us. And I think it's time for the world to start like really believing in this Dolphins team and stop making excuses. I think winning this game will put a stop to that officially. But what concerns you most about this Philadelphia team? They're 5-1 heading in. They can run the hell out of the ball. Jalen Hurts is a quarterback that has done it before, has gone to the Super Bowl. We talked about A.J. Brown. But what concerns you most for this particular matchup?
Yeah, I'm not really too concerned about our offense. I think our offense is going to get their moments. Philadelphia's secondary is not the best. So I think they're going to have their moments. What scares me is our O-line versus their D-line. It's going to be a huge test for our O-line. Like I said, it's going to be revealing. We're going to see what this O-line's about. And, you got Jalen Carter up there. You got some big guys right there. So, you got to protect Tua. I mean, that's what's worrying me the most. I know Tua has been demonstrating that he can protect himself a little better this season so far, but our O-line versus their D-line is what concerns me the most. I don't think we're going to have success running the ball. I think we would have if we had Achane for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have success running the ball, maybe a few plays there and there, but you're going to have to rely on the passing game, take advantage of it. But I'm just the pressure on the O-line. That's what concerns me the most.
Yeah, that you're onto something there. I think Achane is going to be missed heavily in this game for sure, man. How would you feel if the Dolphins win this game and improve to 6-1? How would you look at this team?
I'll be pumped, dude. Like because my expectations are at an all-time low for this game. So if they go in there and win it, I'm gonna be fired up. I'm going to be ready for what else comes our way. I don't care how Philadelphia has looked against a couple other teams. This is a tough team, a very well coached team, and you're going to be, like I said, in a top 3 hostile home advantage. So this will be a huge win for the Dolphins, probably the biggest win in like 15 years, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
So I don't think people understand how much this can set the team up for the rest of the season if they win this game. You win this game, you're riding all the momentum going home playing New England, and then you go into Kansas City, who has not, despite the record, has not looked pretty, and then you get that bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone comes back. This is a huge opportunity. I don't think you guys really understand how big
No,
of a game this is.
and that reason that you mentioned is one, and another reason is the trade deadline's coming up in a couple weeks, man. Not only do you have the bye, but you also have the trade deadline. You go out there and win this game, Chris Greer's getting on that phone. The way he's been every single year, just being aggressive. Chris Greer is basically like, yo, Miami, show me something, and you show me something at the deadline. I got you. I'm improving this team. Like, I'll get you. I'll make a move. So I think this is big time, man. This will show not only us as fans, but it'll show Chris Greer like, yo, we're 6-1. Yo, get that one extra piece because we going for this shit, man.
Absolutely.
So at 6-1, would you say we go to 6-1, we beat Philly? Are the Dolphins the best team in the AFC?
I don't think you could say that.
Not,
Not yet. Like, just because of that Buffalo game. Like,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
You can go beat Philly. You can go beat Philly for sure. But like I'm not gonna crown this team the best team in the AFC until it's finished.
Yeah.
That's just the way I'm going to set it, because the Dolphins can win this game and they're still going to be dubbed a fake team. Like, that's just how it's going to be. It's Miami against the world. That's just the reality.
Yep.
But for my personal expectation, until we prove we can beat the Eagles, we can beat the Chiefs, we can beat the Buffalo Bills, then we are the best team in the AFC.
I think that's fair.
I will say we're the hottest team in the AFC, but I won't say we're the best team until we're fully complete and we prove we can compete with the Bills. Because whether you like it or not, the division still goes through the Bills right now.
Yep. I think that's fair enough, and we'll see them hopefully for the division in that last game. What do you think of Chase Claypool? Obviously, we added him in the trade, and then he didn't play. What do you think about him not playing?
Yeah, I think they're really trying to prepare him. I don't think it's anything like too crazy to think about that he's not playing so far. But if they can get him in this week, his blocking ability might come in handy.
Yeah.
He might be a sneaky threat there. The Eagles just signed Julio Jones today. I doubt he'll play, but if he does, that's another threat right there. I don't care how old Julio Jones is. You put any kind of above average receiver against our secondary without Howard, it's gonna be tough. So
yeah.
I would love to see Claypool out there this week. That will just add, because Claypool's a dog, man. You add another threat out there that their defense has to keep an eye out for. It's only extra weapons for the Dolphins.
No, for sure, man. I definitely would. He would be, in my opinion, he's our fourth go-to guy. I mean, you can argue he could be better than Berrios, but Berrios has shown some nice consistency. So I won't knock him on that. But Claypool's talent is there. I just think that he was inactive because, I mean, you see this playbook. This playbook looks like it's probably, as a wide receiver to learn this shit, is probably a freaking headache. And I think Mike McDaniel, he treats that playbook like his baby, rightfully so. And he's like, no, you're gonna get that 100%, and until you get 100%, I'm not throwing you out there.
Yeah,
so I think it's more that it's nothing about like anything else that people are probably thinking of, like talent or anything like that. Like, the dude is a dog, just like Jacoby said.
No, absolutely.
So we're going to talk our keys to victory and scoring prediction, but I want to share this, how we match up against Philly, man. This is amazing. Like, I looked at this right before the show and I was like, wow, I got to put this up, man. The Dolphins first in offense, Philly second in offense. The Dolphins passing offense in first, Philly in 9. Rushing offense, Miami in first, Philly in second. So, and then scoring, Miami in first. Offensive categories all ran by Miami. But these teams are just like neck and neck in so many categories. But their third down offense, look at that. First in third down offense. Look, 2 sacks, second in league in sacks, I mean, for the Dolphins offensive line allowed. That's also big time. But Philly's total defense is top 10. Obviously, ours isn't. And Philly, 5th in sacks. Their takeaways are way, way, way higher than ours. And their rushing defense, like I talked about, second guarding the run. So Raheem Mostert is gonna have a busy night. But that's surprising, man. Like, those stats, like, we're right there, man. So this is gonna be a hell of a game. So with that being said, you looked at the stats. We talked a little bit briefly about both teams. What are your keys to victory this Sunday?
My key. Okay, so my first one is it's going to be protecting the quarterback. That's going to be my first one. Let Tua get his plays in, give him time back there like you've been all season long, and then offense won't be a problem. My second takeaway is going to be forcing turnovers. I love that you brought up those statistics. The second to last one, takeaways. Miami has barely had any takeaways. You know, a couple of those takeaways we have was in garbage time against the Broncos, man. You need to, if you're going to win this game, you're going to have to get some interceptions. You're going to have to force some fumbles. If you don't, I don't think you win this game. You're going to have to get all the possessions you can. So that's my second one. And, my third one is just, scheme this team perfectly. It's just defense, man. You got to be prepared. You can't allow blown coverage. You can't allow these missed tackles and then they run it for 50 yards after a catch for a touchdown. You just be physicality, go out there and just assert your dominance from the start. Play with some fire. We haven't seen this team on defense play with some fire since like 2020, man. So let's see it, but that's what we're going to need. You're going to have to be the most physical team and I would say cleanest team on offense if you're going to win this game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on those, man. I think number one, you mentioned being physical. Physicality, man, is number one. You're playing on the road. You're playing against a team that just lost to the Jets. That this team is at home. This is prime time. Everyone's watching. Make your physicality felt. I think that is very, very important, man. Set the tone. I talk about setting the tone on offense. The defense, I think, has to set the tone. Playing aggressive. Get to the quarterback. Get sacks. Make it a dance party early, man. I think that's very, very important. Making Jalen Hurts uncomfortable with physicality. You saw that's what the Jets did, and they got to him, man. He threw picks. The picks are going to be there for you if you pressure him. Jacoby talked about picks. I think you're onto something great there. So physicality, number one. Number two will be containing these pass catchers, man. Containing Dallas Goedert. We've seen tight ends just feast against our defense. Dallas Goedert has been getting into a rhythm lately. He's a big target. He's one of their best weapons out there. He's going to get the ball. Be ready to bring him down. No missed tackling. A.J. Brown as well. That is another guy who, obviously, if X doesn't play, I mean, he's just going to feast. I don't think you could stop him, but please just at least try to contain Dallas Goedert the best you can. So that's my second key. And you mentioned offensive line. I think that is extremely important. But my third key is actually, I'm going to go. I think this is a key, man. It feels weird that I'm doing this because of who he is and what he's done and what he's been doing and what he will continue to do. My key is Tyreek Hill to have a freaking big ass game. I think this is a game where your superstars have to be superstars. You have to shine your brightest. Go out there and get 200. Give me 3 touchdowns. Set the tone early, bro. Take the lead early. Once he gets going, people start to feed off that, man. The running game starts to get going. Waddle starts to get more open. Tua gets that confidence and get that momentum he needs. And the whole team just builds off it, man. You saw how crazy everyone gets when he does a crazy celebration. Yo, set the tone early and go out there. We've seen what you're able to do. Yo, go get 200 or something on Philly. Go get 3 touchdowns if you could on Philly. Our superstars, our best players have to perform in games like this, and it's important for them to set the tone early. So those would be my 3 keys to victory. We do that, I'm feeling good, man. What you think?
No, I agree, man. I think, like I said, you got to score every possession you get. I'm not too confident in the defense, so I think the offense has to have the best game they've had all year. Maybe not as big as they did against Broncos. They're not gonna have a lot of garbage time in this one, but you got to go out there and you got to score at least a field goal or a touchdown on every one of your drives, and you're gonna have to force a few extra drives on forcing turnovers. Until this defense gives me a reason to be optimistic, it's gonna be all hands on deck for me against these tough teams.
Okay, fair enough. We're gonna switch things up this week when it comes to X factors. I noticed that when we say X factors, the defense as a whole has just there's too many guys that need to step the hell up, and I think it's better to kind of limit it to just one for this week's show. And on the offense, we're always talking Tyreek and Tua, rightfully so. So let's go with one X factor to make it a little bit more challenging for us. One X factor this Sunday. This person has a big game, and I feel better about the Dolphins winning. Who is it for you?
It's what I picked this one because I think Vic Fangio kind of challenged him a little bit. And, I don't know if there's some tension going on, but if Vic Fangio talked about this player and said that his layoff in training camp caused him to be a little rusty. And, this player responded and said, that's just his opinion. So, you know what? You need to go out there and show us that that's just his opinion. So, and it's going to start with him, Christian Wilkins.
Yep.
I think it's going to be, he's going to be the X factor on defense. If he's making plays like he did against Carolina, I'm going to like our chances. Jalen Hurts has been turning over the ball a lot. You got to force those turnovers, man. You got to make these quarterbacks uncomfortable. Get to the quarterback, and they'll feed off it. I know they will. So that's going to be my X factor.
I love that X factor. And I saw him challenge him, and I was a little bit surprised with it. And I was like, you know what? This is Fangio, man. This is what he does. And he was right. Challenge your best players, man. Have them show up, especially on a big time game. My
Absolutely.
X factor, it was the same guy that I mentioned on my keys. It's going to be Tyreek Hill for the reasons I stated. I just think if he sets the tone and he's able to contribute to an extreme level, like a 3-touchdown game, I just love it's not only about him, like I mentioned, it's just what that does to the entire team and what that does for Tua. I would feel great about that. So I got Tyreek Hill. Like, setting the tone early against a good team on primetime television, I think is so important, man. And everyone's going to just feed off that. Waddle's going to start eating. It'll open up the run game, like I said, and just Tua's confidence. Once Tyreek gets going, Tua just starts slinging it, man. So that's my X factor. Now, scoring prediction. You did say, hey, the offense is pretty much going to have to throw touchdowns and going to have to be ready to score because of the defense. So I'm assuming you got this as a high-scoring game. What scoring prediction do you have for this Sunday's matchup?
Yeah, I think it's going to be back and forth throughout the majority of the first half, and then I think Philadelphia is going to just break away in the second half. I'm not confident on Miami being able to make adjustments because they really haven't shown that they really make adjustments. They just follow their game plan. That's just my opinion. So I have Philadelphia getting a rout at 38-21.
Okay, damn. So if it's 38-21, that means you would be upset, right? Because they didn't keep it close.
Yeah. I think they'll get a touchdown towards the end, like garbage time a little bit. It will be probably like 38-14 for the most part, and then they get a touchdown at the end. But I don't think it's gonna be a fun night. That's just me though.
All right. And when we did our predictions earlier in the season, you said that you had this as a loss. So
yes,
you stood there despite the 5-1 start. Let's see. Let's have it prove you otherwise.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Cool. I think it's cool. I have our boys winning this thing, man. I hope that I could, start to rail you in little by little, bro. I have bought into this offense. I have bought into Tua. I have bought into everything they have sold me. And every time I get high on this team, they just, like I said, they just slap me in the face. I'm doing it again, damn it. I feel good enough. Listen, the question marks that I have had have been answered. The reason why I haven't was offensive line play. They barely give up sacks now. They're blocking for running backs. They're doing their thing. My second thing was getting sacks to the quarterback. They are third in the league in sacks. So I need to. I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna ride the high, man. I got the Miami Dolphins winning this game 31-27. I think this offense is gonna come ready to play. I think Tyreek has a huge game. If he doesn't get if he doesn't get 3, he'll get 2. I think it's gonna be that type of game, man. I think he's gonna pour it on. He's gonna pour it on Philly, man. I really do.
All right, dude. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I hope you're right. I hope you're talking crap to me next week, but I just don't see it, man. But I mean, we'll see, man. Our boys have shocked us before. They can do it again.
Man, that environment is just gonna be crazy. I'm excited as hell, man. It should be a good one, and it's gonna be a big test, like you mentioned, man. I can't wait. This one's gonna be good, man. And I was actually gonna go to this game, bro. I was gonna go to this game when we did our
I was thinking about it too.
Because I was when we did the preview show, those tickets started at like $200, all the way up top. So I'm like, you know what? It might be worth this prime time. Cool, I'm down. Now they start at $340 all the way up top, and I don't even think they're I think it's standing room only.
Oh my God.
I'm like, listen, man.
You have dude, with football tickets, you have to buy them like
early.
The day the schedule comes out. Because like I bought my tickets to Dolphins and Chargers the day the schedule came out, and you saw where I was sitting.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
super
paid
close.
168 for those tickets,
That's a
and
good
the
deal.
like 2 weeks before the game, they were up to like 400 in that same section. You have to buy your
Wow.
tickets like the day the schedule comes out.
Lesson learned. And but sometimes I got some family members that say, "Yo, wait until after because
Yeah,
you
no,
know
don't
they, they,
listen to
they get." No, I'm not doing that again. Like, god damn, I could have been out to Philly, but you know what? Maybe it was a blessing in disguise. Those fans are freaking crazy. Maybe I wouldn't be able to handle myself.
them. That's true.
Um,
That is
so
true.
I'll be watching this one for the couch, man. The only game it looks like I'm going to is the Jets one, on Black Friday.
Oh, not Baltimore.
No, I'm thinking about that one, but it's on New Year's Eve, so I'm
Oh,
pending.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about it. It depends where we are in the standings at that point. It's week 17. Maybe
Hey,
I
if
will
they
have
can
to go.
clinch the division that day, go
No,
for it.
yeah, yeah. Screw it, right? I'll
Yeah.
celebrate New Year's in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Fuck it, man. But I'm excited for this matchup. Should be a big test. Hopefully the
Yeah.
Dolphins get it done, man. And we'll see how this goes. So let's go get into our fantasy football segment, man.
No.
This is one of my favorite parts of the show. How are your fantasy teams looking thus far? Listen, we're 6 weeks in now. How you looking?
Yeah, I'm good. Took dubs in both my leagues.
Woo!
The league I'm in with you put up 123 points. Justin Tucker, man, gave me 20 points. I wouldn't have won without him. It's pretty good. I'm advanced
Damn.
to 4-2 and 3-3 in my other league. Slowly getting back into that league. So successful week. Successful week. How to go for you?
It was disasterful. it was a freaking mess, man. I knew that I had some trouble, and I didn't think it was this bad. But listen, I looked at my fantasy app on Monday morning, and I saw my team with 50 points, and I was like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!" I got my ass kicked to my brother, man. So I'm 4-2. I'm 4-2 in one league, in one of my ESPN leagues, and then the one I'm in with you. After starting 3-0, my ass is 3-3, struggling, bro. I got Najee Harris. I got Justin Jefferson on IR. I got Dak freaking Prescott. My best player on my team is the fucking Cowboys defense. That's like, god damn it, man. And now you have everybody on a fucking bye. So I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I'm
much
looking
done
at
for
that. I'm
the
looking at that right now.
I'm like, shit, like who can I drop one and I might not get him back next week? I'm over here struggling, man. But
Hey, I kid you not. In my other league, I traded Justin Jefferson and Javonte Williams for Tyreek Hill and Najee Harris. This was like 2 weeks before he went on IR. So I avoided that trap. Does that like thank God. So I
lucky
got
you.
Tyreek in my other league, and I'm pumped about it.
Lucky you, man. I'm over here. I'm so down bad. It's crazy, bro. I picked up Spears, just saying
I
like,
see
hey,
that.
man, if Henry goes down, I got something good here. Like,
Hey, I have Achan on IR and CMC's all beat up, so I might be in for some shit too, to be honest with you.
listen,
But
I'm gonna be taking a lot of your advice on this week's show, bro. So let's start it off, man. Who are you
yeah,
starting
let's
at the
do it.
quarterback position this week?
Yeah, you know what? For the quarterback one, I like these two because they had rough weeks, and I think they're due for some I think they're due for a bounce back after rough weeks. They got favorable matchups. They're both NFC West quarterbacks. I'm going to go with Brock Purdy and Geno Smith. Those are my two stardoms this week. Brock Purdy's taking on Minnesota, who's got a very poor pass defense. And, Brock Purdy's going to want to go out there and have a better game than he did against the Browns. He had his worst game of his career, most likely. So I think he's good. I think they're gonna have a big bounce back win in Minnesota. And Geno Smith going up against Arizona. I love that matchup so much. Seattle is very an underrated team in the NFC. They got the weapons. Geno can get the job done. I think he's going to bounce back and get around 20 points. So those are my two stardoms for quarterbacks.
All right, I picked up Geno, luckily, and that is exactly who I'm starting this week. So I like that you said that, my man.
Yeah.
Which quarterbacks are you a little bit on this
Yeah,
week?
so my first one is actually my quarterback in the other league. Had to move on from him because he lost his best receiver. That's Kirk Cousins. Going to be sitting him against San Francisco. I think they're going to beat him up pretty well, especially with no main receiver to go to except for Hawkinson. I'm going to stay away from him. And my other one is going to be Tua. I think Tua is going to have I'd say one or two turnovers. I think he will. I think the Eagles are going to get to him pretty good. I still think he'll throw for a few touchdowns, but I think it's going to be a rough one for him. So he's going to be in my sit-em as well.
Yeah,
I
I don't
know
mind.
I'm wearing his jersey, but that's just for fantasy wise, I'm unbiased. So
Yeah, no, and then you have to be like that. Listen, if I had to, I wouldn't start him this week too. If I had a better option, that Philly defense is scary, man. Things can get ugly, and I like what you said about Kirk Cousins, man, because Justin Jefferson helps him just so much when it comes to fantasy. Definitely stay away. And then against San Fran, that's a no brainer right there. But what about the running back position, man? Which running backs do you like this week?
yeah, my running back stardoms. God, he's been my guy all year. Had an amazing week one. It's just been non-existent since then with injuries. But they're playing against the Broncos this year. Give me Aaron Jones. I love his potential for a bounce back. It's about time he gets more involved. He's just been so beat up with a hamstring injury all year. He had 29 fantasy points in PPR leagues on week one. So I want him to be my first stardom this week for sure. My second one is going to be Kenneth Walker. I love his potential. I'm expecting a big, what do you say? Like a big bounce back game from the Seahawks. He's also going up against the 30th ranked team against the run. So give me Kenneth Walker too for my stardoms.
Love me some Kenneth Walker, man. And you've been on Aaron Jones a lot, man. You've been on
Yeah.
Aaron Jones a lot. You're desperately waiting for him to get going. I know you were high on him at the beginning of the year before we even started doing this. So hopefully Aaron Jones gets things going, man. I love Aaron Jones, but hamstrings are tricky, bro.
Yep, they are.
They are.
For my situms, this one might be a shock because he's currently ranked third in PPR leagues right now for running backs, but I think he's got a tough matchup with New Orleans. I'm going to stay away from ETN this week. If I have better options, I'm definitely going to sit him. The Jaguars have been such an up and down team to me so far, and I think they're going to face a really good Saints defense this week, so I'm going to sit ETN. And then my second one is also going to be Rachaad White going up against a defense right behind the Saints, third against the Falcons against the run. And I just don't like it. The Buccaneers have been kind of more inconsistent than the Jaguars too. So just stay away from those two if you have better options.
Yeah. You got a comment here. Jacoby say that every week. What do you have against Travis?
Did I say sit Travis last week? I don't think I did.
No, I know you've said it before because I'm like, damn it, I have Travis, bro.
No, you know what?
I think
I will say this. I do have a little thing against ETN, but it's not the reason why. It's just like I had him last year, and I think like every game that I needed to win, like he had a shitty game, and then I got pissed off. But it's not the reason why I pick against him. Like I solely just base it off my matchups and what I think. And if he's the greatest threat, I'm gonna go against him because like usually the matchups don't lie. But that's just my thing. I don't have anything personal, but I will say he screwed me over last year.
All right, that makes a little bit more sense. But the matchups have been bad though.
Absolutely.
So I'm with you. I'm still starting him because I have to, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has a bad game.
For sure. And then moving on to my wide receivers. This one's might be a little obvious. We've been talking about it all show. AJ Brown is my number one stardom. I think he's going to have a hell of a game out there. I don't think Xavier Howard's going to play, even though he said he's fine. Knowing how this team is with injuries, it's freaking annoying. Like even if these players know they can tough it out, it seems like they're not even giving them the chance to. So I don't think Xavier Howard's going to play. I'd be very shocked if he does. And even if he does, I'm still going to bet on AJ Brown having a good game. So AJ Brown is my number one stardom this week. Don't miss your chance. I think he's going to have a huge game. And then going on to my situms. Oh, no, stardoms. I got one more stardoms. My bad. DK Metcalf, he had a very tough game mentally last week. And I'm all about those bounce back guys. I know this is my third Seahawk on the list, but you know what? I love receivers who just have bad games or they're down on themselves and they come out and have a huge game. Look at Jamar Chase. Yeah. He did just that last week. So I think DK Metcalf finally gets a huge game this week against Arizona. This is the perfect chance for the Seahawks to capitalize. And I think DK Metcalf gets that game this week.
I'm with it. I'm with it on both of those. 100%. Who are you staying away from this week?
Yeah, the Bears are just an absolute mess. I know I picked them after his huge game, but with possibly no Justin Fields, I'm going to have to stay away from DJ Moore, and that kind of hurts me because he's my player as well. And I even was seeing some stuff that, it's not impossible for the Bears to even trade Justin Fields this season. So, I mean, it's going to be a shit show over there this week if Fields doesn't play as well. It might still be a shit show to begin with. I mean, going up against the Vegas Raiders, we'll see what happens, but I'll probably sit DJ Moore if I have better options. If you don't have better options, you might as well just ride it out with him because he's been a yak merchant, like yards after catch. So you could take the chance on him getting one of those plays. So just do what you like. But if I have better options, I'm going to stay away from him.
You think you're going to ride it out on your team with them?
I don't know. Jacoby Myers has been an easy start, so I might put him in there. And I do have a deep bench, so I'm going to think about it for sure. But I might stay away from him if I'm honest with you.
Now I've been hearing that name a lot on my television, bro. He's been doing big things, Jacoby Myers. Every freaking time he catches the ball, I actually think of you, bro.
I tried telling everyone too. Nobody took me seriously. I'm like, hey, Jacoby Myers is going to be a sleeper pick. Like, get him on there.
I'm like, Jacoby was high on Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who else? You have one more, right?
Yeah. It's going to be Godwin.
Okay.
Don't like him this week. It's very unpredictable with Baker Mayfield, but simply I just don't like the matchup. And, Mike Evans just takes so much volume away from Godwin. It's just, he's currently ranked 43rd right now. He's only had one big game. That's against the Saints a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to probably not start him if I have him in my league with you. And I started him maybe 1 or 2 weeks. He gets you 10 points. He only had 8. The lowest he had was 8 against Philly. I mean, if you needed like a 10-point jumper, he might get that to you. But Mike Evans just takes a lot of the volume from him, and it's just very iffy, especially if you're fighting for a playoff spot. Maybe stay away from him.
Yeah, it's weird with Baker back there under center, man. When it comes to fantasy this year, I'm surprised by it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised by it because I thought Godwin was gonna have a big year, man. What about the tight end position, man? I already know where you're gonna go with one of them.
No, tight ends have been so weird this year, man. Like. I've been going through tight ends like no tomorrow in both of my leagues. Right now I have Conklin in the one with you, and I'm going to drop him because he's got a bye. But my 2 stardoms, I like Njoku this week. Prayers to Njoku, man. He's been going through some shit with his burns. But I mean, I'm glad he's doing okay. But he's got a favorable matchup, and hopefully they get Deshaun Watson back. So I think he'll get you a solid 10 points for sure. And Cole Kmet is my other one. I think that's going to be a favorable target for. Hey, I forgot the Bears' backup quarterback name, but if he's in there, I think that would be a favorable target for him. Cole Kmet's been having a good year fantasy wise, and I think he'll be an easy check down merchant for the Bears if Fields doesn't play. So I think I'll go with those 2 for sure.
Dallas Goedert?
No, if anyone's gonna have a big game, it's not gonna be Goddard. I think it's gonna be AJ or Devontae Smith. So that's just how I feel.
Fair enough.
He might have 10 or 11 points, but I think those 2 are better standouts than Goddard in my opinion.
No, so. I'm with you. Which tight ends do you like? Definitely don't like this week.
Yeah, don't start Hawkinson. I'm not starting anyone against San Francisco right now. I'm not going to start Hawkinson this week. The Niners are 6th against the tight end position, and he had a decent game last week against the Bears. But the last time, I think the last time he played the night, I think that was last. No, it wasn't last year. It might have been with the Lions. I got a little mixed up there, but it's just I don't like the matchup at all. Like the Niners just are bringing everything down on opposing offenses right now. So just no Hawkinson for me. And then this one was a little tough. I haven't been able to get on the Laporta hype yet, but
not yet.
No, it's just
he's awesome,
they've been making good plays from him. He's been really fun to watch, but now he's going up against the number 1 defense against tight ends. And he went up against not a really good defense last week. Only had 7 points PPR league, but I think the Ravens are going to give the Lions a pretty good whipping in my opinion. So
yeah, me too.
I'm going to sit Laporta.
Yeah, that 5-1 Lions team going to Baltimore on the road. This just screams to me like a nice little humble pie incoming, right?
Absolutely.
All right. I like those picks. So we got that wraps up the fantasy segment. Hopefully, you're on the money with these, and
I've been pretty consistent. Consistent.
No, you have. I'm enjoying the hell out of this segment, bro, and I'm glad you picked a lot of my guys on your list, bro. So let's see. Big.
You need a win. Week. You need a win desperately.
No, for sure. Then I'm gonna start panicking, man. So we got Thursday night game. This one's a little bit better than the ones we've had recently. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 4-2, taking on the New Orleans Saints, who who are 3-3. The Saints are at home. This is a straight pick'em game. The spread is -1. So it can go either way. I'm excited we finally have a game that should be good. I mean, you have arguably 2 playoff teams going head to head against one another in New Orleans. I know your boy's a Saints fan. He's gonna be locked the hell in. I know he's ready. He's ready to go for this
he's
one.
been frustrated, dude. Like
It's inconsistent. You see the team put up 34, and then you see them
Yep.
suck. It's like, God damn. So I feel for him, bro. I feel for him. And then you suck against bad team like the Texans. You should have beat the Carolina. You should have beat them by more. So I understand it, man. I know your boy's gonna be locked in. Who are you picking for this game? Who you like in this game?
No, yeah. I want to pick the Saints, but I can't because I don't think they'll win. I think Jaguars are going to get a nice win. I think 21-10 will be my score.
Yeah.
Man, the Saints just have horrible coaching, man. They have a lot of talent on that offensive side. They just can't get anything rolling, man. It's just Derek Carr is not playing bad either. It's just I don't know what it is, but I don't like the offense they're running over there. But as long as they check it down to Alvin Kamara, that's cool with me because I got him in my league. So but I think the Jaguars take this one 21-10.
Yeah, if I look at the talent, man, if I look at, Olave, Mike Thomas, who's been solid, Derek Carr, Kamara, you're at home, the Saints, they have a solid little defense there. It tells me Saints, bro, like right off the bat, like I would pick Saints. But what you mentioned, coaching, I looked up this coach's record. I didn't know it was that bad. Like how the hell why the hell did they hire him? Like,
I agree. I agree with you.
Like that team is talented as hell, and you just wasted with that coach. Like what the hell? That's insane to me. So I think coaching matters. I would have picked the Saints based on the talent, but but when you mix in a coach like that, that's why they've been inconsistent. I think the Jaguars win. I'm with you on that, man. I like your score prediction as well. I think they win by multiple scores. Will your boy Travis Etienne have a big game? Maybe not.
No.
Maybe they don't need it, man. I think Doug Peterson, as a head coach, has the coaching advantage.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think Trevor has a big game, and I think they pull through. Hopefully, Ridley starts to get going, man. It's a guy I've been high on.
I know he needs to get rolling, man.
I have him. Like he's literally like I was trying to get him in every single league. I only got him in one. I wanted him in all 3 of my leagues, but I want him to get it going, man. And I think he can do so. Honestly, I looked up his stats against the Saints in his career because he played the Saints a lot when he was in Atlanta in the same division. He's freaking killed the Saints all the time. So
if there's a potential breakout, I could see it being this one. It's just I haven't been too sold on him lately.
Yeah. So
but, I hope so. I hope so.
I think this is it for him, bro. I think this is it. I think this is the game where Ridley pops off and the Jaguars win, man. But that's it, man. On to Philly. Sunday Night Football. Everybody, once again, thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks for commenting on the chat. You guys are the best. Make sure you like the video. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe if you haven't. Follow my guy Jacoby on Twitter. Listen to his fantasy advice, people. And hopefully we're back here next Tuesday talking about a Dolphins win. Jacoby, are you changing your pick?
No, I'm not.
All right.
See it, though. We'll see it.
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll be a good one. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the week. Go Dolphins, primetime television. See you guys next Tuesday.
Let's go.